As you may have noticed if you've been paying attention, the rest of the series has been devoted to the letter L. But tonight's an exception, because it's no L. Let's look at my lovely decorations. A big bauble, Bill Bailey! A jolly tracker, Jimmy Carr! A Christmas fairy no less than Carrie Fisher! And either my chocolate log has melted or the reindeer have diarrhea. Alan Davies! Let's hear the jingle bells. Bill goes. Jimmy goes. Oh, that slays me. And Carrie goes. Thank you.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, tingle, tingling, too.
Phil Spector's still in prison. And Alan goes. This series, we have an L-themed chance for extra points in the shape of your spend a penny bonus. L is for lavatory. If you think a question I've asked has some lavatorial theme, all you have to do is wave your spend a penny, and if you're right, you get extra points. Now, I've got a little something for each of you under this tree. Isn't that lovely? But first, can you tell me what's special, indeed unique, about this tree? Can you see it? There you are.
Small.
It's small.
Imperfectly formed.
Imperfectly formed.
Was that a normal sized tree and they started trimming it and then they didn't get it even on that side, went a bit lower on that side, and then eventually they ended up with a twig?
Is it a vintage one?
It is. It's been valued by Christie's.
Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, hello. Is it a Christmas tree?
It doesn't quite work as lavatorial, but you're on fire.
Oh, thank you.
When you say it was valued by Christie's, that sounds very impressive, but maybe they went, that's worth £1.
Yeah. Four-figure sum. Four-figure sum.
£10.99.
Does it belong to someone famous?
No.
Is it one of these things that's been to the moon?
No, it hasn't. These are all good answers.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you don't know the kind of answers they usually give.
Yeah. Jesus' personal tree.
Jesus' personal tree? No.
Yeah.
Was that what the gold, frankincense,
But
and myrrh
somebody kind of suggested earlier on, and that's to do with its age.
It's the oldest Christmas tree.
Oldest what Christmas?
Oldest one in the room.
Fake.
Artificial
It's
tree.
the first.
Original artificial
It's the first ever. It's in the Guinness Book of Records.
Wow.
Christie's have validated it. It was bought for sixpence. That's 6D, which is 2.5 pence, in 1886.
What?
This particular one.
This actual one.
And someone made note of that so that we can
It's been in
know.
the same family. That's how we know.
It was all the receipts.
It was bought by Lou Hicks and her great-great-niece, Janet. There's Lou Hicks on the left, and her great-great-niece, Janet. She died in 2008, and her son, Paul Parker, who's a mathematician from Bath, is here in the audience. So, Paul, you grew up with this Christmas tree, did you?
That's right, yeah.
And you knew that it was old. You knew.
No one knew it was the oldest until I was grown up. Everyone was kind of, well, that's a nice little trinket.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be the oldest one, and everyone else got really interested.
Oh, that's amazing. So all these baubles presumably are not original, are they?
No, they've just been accumulated over the years.
Who took it to Christie's? Was that your mother?
Yeah, that's right.
And what value did they put on it?
Well, they put a value of about 1,000 on it, but the thing is, it's anyone's guess because it's unique.
Well, if you're watching, if you give your address, and there may be a burglar watching, yeah, that would be a response.
Yeah. Bound to be some burglars watching.
Yeah. Odds are. Yeah.
Well, this is
I mean, you have Christmas trees in America, obviously.
I have a year-round Christmas tree, actually.
Well, you have a house that is just.
It's
the most-
year-round also.
It is bizarre. It is the most bizarre, extraordinary house.
My house is 100 years old. And in America, that's like prehistoric.
Wow.
So, but Betty Davis lived there, and
Yeah.
Robert Armstrong, who was in King Kong.
And your mother lives there, Debbie Reynolds.
We're
who is Hollywood
neighbours,
royalty.
yeah.
Yeah, she lives in your garage, let's be honest. I mean, the American
Right,
pronunciation
yes.
is garage. So, do you know who it was who brought the Christmas tree to Britain? No, there's no reason why you should know, but it was Queen Victoria's husband, Albert, who was German. He didn't introduce it to Britain, but he certainly made it very popular. He had this German habit of having the Christmas tree decorated, and it just caught on. By 1889, of course, when this one was made, it had become a habit throughout Britain. And indeed now, artificial sales have overtaken real sales. Isn't
Really?
that sad? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in America you see...
E-trees take over.
Each...
Just have a tree on your telly.
Well,
You lose so many lovely traditions, though. That lovely sort of January tradition of sort of taking it down and throwing it over the neighbour's fence.
what you can do is gather them in a little bag, all the pine needles,
Yeah.
and put them in a bath, and they scent your bath.
From Prince Albert as well.
We have other traditions from Prince Albert.
Oh, Germans.
I don't know why I grabbed my groin when I said that. Yeah.
Because you couldn't reach mine. didn't you? Debbie Reynolds was in Singing in the Rain.
She was?
Did she never tell you that?
She doesn't come up, no.
No. How
Can't stop
was she?
thinking about it.
She was 19 years old.
She was
You better
19.
stop thinking about
She was
it.
19 in that film.
Yeah.
Yeah, what were you
My
doing
God.
when you were 19? Nothing. That's right.
She says that Gene Kelly rehearsed until her feet bled.
Yes, and she also said that Gene Kelly French kissed her and she vomited.
During
So
or after?
romantic.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's actually a tradition that Prince Albert brought over from Japan.
Was that part of the film?
That's in the blooper reel at the end.
Oh.
They did not, Donald O'Connor and my mother were not wild about Gene Kelly.
Oh, wow. I love this. More of this.
It's great.
Well, but apparently he's not a good kisser, and he didn't have a good sense of humor.
But was
a
Donald
great
O'Connor
dancer.
nice? Was Donald O'Connor a nice chap?
Yes, he was
'Cause
great.
I love him.
What's Chewbacca like? Try and ignore Stephen.
Laugh it up, fuzzball. It's something you must get this everywhere you go. You're going to get it everywhere.
No, I've gotten used to it, you know,
Oh,
take
really?
a couple of minutes for the Navi computer to calculate the coordinates.
Yes, exactly.
That wasn't even my line, and we all started
Still
saying those
started
things.
to say it, that's right, for the jump into hyperspace. And he goes,
With Harrison Ford, where he said he had a problem with the dialogue generally, he said, you can write this stuff, but you can't say
You
it.
can type it.
You can type
It's
it.
very specific. Yeah, no, you cannot say, I've placed a couple, I can't say mine. Placed, no, I
Come on,
can't
come on,
remember.
come on.
What is that speech that I did?
We've got...
Years ago.
I'll tell you what we've done. We've bought
Father.
300 nerds. Look that way.
Oh, I know. I've placed information vital to the survival of the rebellion to the memory system of this R2 unit. My father will know how to retrieve it.
that's it.
Tonight the beginning of a religion, isn't it? It's like Jerusalem 2,000 years ago.
Exactly like that.
Explain to me, please, why is it that C-3PO can speak 2 billion languages, but not English without a proper intonation? It's so wrong, all the way he talks. Anyway, we have to thank, of course, Paul for his fantastic, trusting nature in letting us look after his exceptionally valuable tree, the oldest artificial tree in the world, authenticated. Now, you'll notice that, like any tree, it has presents around it. Carrie, I have a present for you, and I want to know which imperial princess was responsible for it. So you can open it, literally on camera. It's from an imperial princess.
Well, yeah, I can take my glasses. Oh, it does.
Do you want, you can put your glasses on for this moment, if it really...
Thank you.
Oh, Paul.
There I am. All right.
Okay.
Oh.
Can you see the picture on it there? We've got a video slide. So...
M&M's.
What's it?
The original, the oldest M&M tin is...
So do you want to show the ladies and gentlemen of the audience what you got there?
With our best wishes for Christmas 1914, may God protect you and bring you home safe.
So what could that be, Christmas 1914, 100 years ago?
I think it could be stolen, Stephen. Where did you get this?
Wait, well, let me just say there are over 2 million of them made.
Are these care packages sent to the troops?
They are indeed. On the left, she's less well known than the guy on the right was George the... You want to know, it's not your business. You think of George the Tyrant, or George III.
George Lucas.
Yeah, George Lucas. I stand by what I said, George the Tyrant. Darling. That's George V, as it happens, who looks exactly like his cousin Nicholas of Russia, who was killed by Lenin. Well, not personally. And his daughter, Mary, wanted to send the troops at the front a present. She wanted to pay for it herself out of her own allowance to send all the troops at the front a brass box with a Christmas card signed by her mother and her father, George R.I. Rex Imperator, King Emperor. And there was tobacco for those who smoke pipes and cigarettes for those who smoke cigarettes. And there were sweets and spices for those who were in the Indian Army, sweets and, rather unpleasantly, a silver pencil in the shape of a bullet for boys who were not old enough to smoke and for those who were non-combatants.
I wonder, did Vader send something similar to all the stormtroopers?
No, I think he sent strippers. He sent virtual strippers to the troopers. Say that 3 times fast. Did they have this, like, in a museum somewhere of the...
Well, its rarity is not enormous because originally she wanted everyone of the British Empire's armed services afloat or at the front to have this present at Christmas. And that was 355,000 boxes successfully delivered by the deadline. But then the eligibility was extended to include everybody who was wearing the King's uniform on Christmas Day 1914, which is a huge increase, which was 2,620,019 servicemen.
A lot of uniforms.
A lot of uniforms, but more than that, a lot of brass. So there was a brass short.
Buttons, a lot of buttons.
Well, yeah, the buttons, of course, but the actual box that Carrie's got is made of brass. So they had to make over 2 million of them, and there was a brass shortage. And,
there was a war on.
And there was a war on, so brass was needed for the casing of bullets and for other things. And so there was a huge extra order of brass made for America and Canada, and one of the largest consignments was the Lusitania, which was sunk. So that held up production of these boxes. Now, here's a rather more individual present. What did St. Bernard get from the Virgin Mary that wasn't just for Christmas?
It's not just for Christmas, it's for life. Therefore, it must be a bottle of brandy. No, a St. Bernard dog, I'm going to say. Come on.
It's actually rather weirder, and with all the deepest respect to the Romish Church, it's not untypical of some of their oddest moments of saint worship. She was a virgin, if we accept that she was a virgin and gave birth.
It seems a bit unbelievable now, doesn't it?
I believe in miracles, you sexy thing. You may remember was a line from Hot Chocolate.
Fine.
You can't make hot chocolate without chocolate and
milk.
Milk. And a kettle.
Milk.
Milk.
She's a virgin, she's given birth.
Oh, she gave him milk.
She lactated right into
But
his
she
mouth.
was a virgin.
And there was a painter present. Wow.
She's a hell of a name.
Look at that. What a shot. Whee! And the milk is supposed to represent wisdom.
Wait a second. I just want to get this as a Christmas card.
Still you are.
Thank you very much.
The photos. Excellent.
Christmas sort. I mean, you know, next Christmas.
She's giving a gift to the priest.
Well, he's not a priest. He's got the halo, that strange little spinning disc above him,
oh.
which means that he's already been sanctified. He's a saint.
Why is he dressed as a Jedi Knight then?
They were basically a prophecy of what was to come. The saints, there will come after us
A movie.
movies.
A
franchise.
Lots of merchandising.
Any old way. That's St. Bernard. He was pretty odd. But there were other opportunities that painters had to paint breasts. Because the painters were pretty limited. They wanted to paint religious paintings. You couldn't get that sexy with Christianity. This was one example where
Oh, I
you
was gonna
could.
say, that's-
Well, that exactly. And then there was, of course, myth.
Whoa.
And this is a peculiar myth because it gets
Doesn't
weird.
look like the milk is really doing him any good.
Well, no.
I'm just saying.
No, you're right. Rubens, Vermeer, and Caravaggio, three of the greatest names in all art, all painted the legend of Roman charity, as it was called, Carita Romana, which is a fashionable theme for painters in the 17th and 18th century. And it tells the story of Cimon, or Simon, C-I-M-O-N, who was sentenced to death by starvation. And he's visited in prison and secretly breastfed by Pero, his daughter.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit creepy.
It is a bit.
Although, could be worse, you could have got off with your brother.
I hope you're not feeling bullied, Carrie.
Not at all. This
you
is-
know how much into every single cell of our body your work is stitched.
This is actually a scene cut from Star Wars. Breeze frees a Wookiee.
So, St. Bernard's Christmas tipple was the Virgin Mary's nipple. What's the least imaginative present that you could think of? Yes, Stephen.
Well, it's got to be the gift voucher, hasn't it?
Yes.
The gift vouchers, I mean, it's heroically bad. It's walking into a shop and going, yeah, I've got some money here. Could I exchange this for, this works everywhere. Could it just work in this one shop? Or could it just be for a limited time period with some terms and conditions, but worth the same amount? Could I make this universally acceptable thing useless?
Well, without wishing to insult your country, it is the #1 present that women want in America is a gift card. Are you ashamed of your people?
I'm humiliated for Americans
Yep.
every week.
So who invented the gift card? Because it is a terrible idea. If you try and sell it to someone as an idea going, well, look,
It
take the
clearly
money.
isn't it clever? It's $30 billion a year in America. $30 billion
And
industry.
how much of that is actually spent? Because I've got some Woolies vouchers at home.
I'll tell you, in America, only 75%, about a quarter, is never redeemed because the recipient forgets or the time period elapses before they get to the shop to redeem it.
Period.
That's
You know, like
very
money
weird,
doesn't
yeah.
have.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant. I know. It's astonishing.
I've got one at home, I can't find it.
Oh, that's annoying.
It's for a Dave driving around Brands Hatch or something.
Oh, well, no, that is
That's
fun.
really fun.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think it's probably expired.
I got one that was an hour in a helicopter. That was it, just an hour. There was no mention of a pilot or whether it would take you anywhere or whether it would even go off the ground. You just sit in a helicopter.
Someone outside.
Oh, well, what's that doing? Right, ouch, come on, that's enough. I never redeemed it. It was a shame.
What were the first gift certificates?
Book token.
Book tokens, right answer. And they were in 1932 by a man called Raymond, who was a publisher, who was rather disappointed to see one Christmas, when he saw all these presents amongst his friends and family, only 3 were books. And he realised the reason was that people were not confident about giving books because they couldn't be sure that the recipient would like that book. So he thought, why not just give them something that is good for any book they like, which is what a gift book token is. So there we are, that's them. Moving on. What's the best way to find out if one of your guests is drunk without...
Wait, hold on. How have you got
We
this?
were in the cupboard.
What the hell?
What the heck, fire?
I have no memory of this.
So what's the best way to find out if someone's drunk without using a breathalyzer?
Oh,
No breathalyzer allowed.
well, I would make a pass at them, and if they go with it, they're drunk.
That works.
Yeah, that's my test. That's lean in for the kiss.
But let's suppose you're a policeman. Would that still be your method?
Sure, take down the particulars.
Sobriety test is normally walking in a straight line, isn't it? Or
That's
walking
right,
along
especially in America, where states I've been stopped and, they make you do that.
Well, people always act, people that are acting really normal, hyper-normal, I think they're loaded.
Yes, because drunk people announce slightly too perfectly.
And talk a
to
little
show
too
that they're not
loud.
slurring.
Yes, when people are acting normal, they
Yes.
are drunk out of their minds.
The British police used to have, in America, in some states, had phrases they asked you to repeat, tongue twisters. The Leith police dismisseth us is quite a well-known one. Can you say that?
Dismisses us.
Can you say that?
Leith police dismisses us.
The leaf to stick a fuss.
No, the Leith police dismisseth us.
The Leith
Wait.
police dismisseth us. I haven't had a drink. I'd be in.
Wait, you'd be in trouble.
Dismisses us.
Yeah. You see, that's cheating. You can't do it, Yoda. On a lazy laser razor lies a laser ray eraser. That's not too difficult. On a lazy laser razor lies a lazy ray eraser.
Well, why would you say that in any... There's no context where you...
There isn't really, is there?
A wicked cricket critic, that's what I
A
want.
wicked critic. A wicked cricket critic.
That's-
Yes. Yeah, a wicked cricket critic.
A wicked cricket critic.
Yeah. Imagine an imaginary menagerie manager managing an imaginary menagerie. Researchers at MIT, I don't know why they say this is the most difficult, but maybe for drunk people it is. Pad, kid, poured curd, pulled cod. Doesn't seem that difficult. Pad, kid, poured curd, pulled cod.
That
Yeah.
doesn't seem that
The one
difficult.
I've always thought the most difficult is you imagine a mother watching her son who's re-metaling the bottom of a pan. She says, "Are you copper-bottoming 'em, my man?" "No, I'm aluminiuming 'em, mum."
Aluminium.
Are you copper bottoming
My man. No, I'm aluminiuming.
Very good. "Are you copper-bottoming 'em, my man?" "No, I'm aluminiuming 'em, mum."
Okay, on to the beach.
Alan, do it.
I can't do it.
Have you go?
Who makes up this stuff?
Teachers. But you would say aluminium, mum.
Aluminum.
I wouldn't say any of them.
You're right.
You would maybe
Unless
just
I
go,
was
"Officer,
drunk."
I am drunk." By the time you got to this one, you just go, "You know what? I'll pay the fine."
Well, anyway, now let's have a look under the Tannenbaum for another present, and it's Bill's turn. Oh my goodness, Bill, you'll be so excited. Here you go. Could you pass that to Bill? A lot of men like getting tools for Christmas, don't they, Bill?
Where are you going with this?
No,
Come on.
Your present is the most popular tool ever made.
Oh, Piers Morgan.
All right, let's see your tool.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
Bill,
right,
see your
then. I'm really looking forward to this tool, and it's been beautifully wrapped as well with a snowflake design. And don't do that. No, we have to save that for a present for next year. Oh, brilliant! Bubble wrap, brilliant.
Oh,
We've lost Bill for 45 minutes.
yeah, that's it.
Put your tongue
Oh,
in.
sorry.
Yeah. It's a
Whoa!
Do you know what
It's
that is?
only a flipping stone axe.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Or
It is a genuinely ancient
flint?
not even made by a human being, made before we were a species.
Wow. By some sort of early hominid.
Exactly. Homo
Erectus.
erectus is exactly right. Homo erectus.
So this is a stone cutting tool, some sort of axe?
Yes,
or
it's called an axe, but you're right, it's a cutting
hand
tool.
axe. It's a
It's certainly
cutting
not for
tool.
stabbing, it's for cutting. And
That
it
is
has
beautiful.
It is absolutely gorgeous,
That's
isn't it?
amazing.
They're called aculean or aculean. Yes, Is it working?
It's really good for anything.
No, it's done work.
It's good for chopping garlic.
Oh, yeah, garlic, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, go on.
Cardboard for another 5,000
Yeah, they had
years.
to wait for cardboard.
Oh, do you know what? I love this. Thank you.
Oh, I'm really
I love it.
pleased. I thought you might. It is.
I will treasure it always.
That's a Mode 2, a more sophisticated one. The Mode 1 was the older one from the Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania, which is where all of the hominids started. All those similar hand axes have been found in Clacton in Essex, which originate from about 20 years ago, exactly. Now, we're talking about the people who bleach their anuses, and they're very sophisticated. Have you not watched Towie? No.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, I have watched that, yes.
They do bleach all
They
parts.
bleach their anuses.
They do.
And they...
Anus bleaching is a popular thing amongst
Yeah.
So you
Amongst
don't have a
certain
rusty
people.
sheriff's badge.
Davies. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everybody! For a sunbeam. Jesus.
Around the fire. When I said Homo erectus, we all know what Alan's an anagram of anyway. So,
Nala, yeah, Nala. Old Peruvian Inca word for anus.
all right, moving on. Everyone likes a little luxury at Christmas, but what little luxury did the Sybarites bring along to dinner parties?
Ferrero Rocher.
You've heard? We are. You've heard the word Sybaritic, I'm sure, meaning luxury-loving, hedonistic, lotus-eating, Sybaritic lifestyle.
Luxury loving.
Luxury loving, yeah.
Yes.
Very L word. So they're very known for that. You can see elephants, it's a camel, they're all the signs of luxury, gold, drinking.
All the signs of luxury. We live very different lives. Elephants, camels, you know.
If you came from southern Italy, which is where they came from, these were very exotic, very expensive, very amazing
Would it be
things.
spice? Would it be salt?
No, the strange thing is, it's now, I have to draw a line and say it's too late.
Like
Could have spent a penny.
Oh,
It was chamber pots.
No.
Yes, they gave the world chamber pots because they so loved dining. They wanted not to have to leave in order to poo and pee. So they invented something you could poo and pee into while eating.
And then presumably someone would.
Someone else would take it away and bring back a clean.
So they invented the person that would take it away.
Yeah, they also invented that. They had slavery, I'm afraid. They were Greek peoples who lived in southern Italy, known for their luxury-loving lifestyle. Also, one of their greatest and most luxuriant leaders, Simdarides, was said to be so in love with luxury that he slept on rose petals and could tell and was not able to sleep if one of the rose petals was folded over.
What a big girl.
You're not going to take that, are you?
I'm not going to take.
No, you see, yeah.
I'm going to bleach your anus.
Help us, everyone.
So, despite their reputation for luxury, the Sybarites' most lasting invention was the chamber pot. I can't resist another peek under the tree. Jimmy, there's a present for you. Of course there is. Whoops, a days I nearly broke the most valuable Christmas tree. Holy moly, Paul. Paul, thing is, though, Paul's got his hand to his mouth.
Go to a break.
You spoke Christmas. It's not my fault. It was leaning on the present. Paul, you okay?
Beginning to look a lot like disaster.
Paul, at least you can say Princess Leia has handled it. Could you pass that to Jimmy? Jimmy, open your present. It's very exciting. Okay. It's actually rather a traditional present for a young person to get. Or at least it was in my generation. It probably isn't anymore.
A young person seems like a stretch now. I'm 41.
Yeah.
The only way I'm young now is if I die.
Or compared to me.
Yeah, that's...
Now,
Well, you...
what I'm going to ask you to do is stand up, and if you can, on a box, or at least as high as you can.
Well, I
No,
mean,
you see
I didn't
that?
get you anything, and I think my gift's better.
No. You know the principle of siphoning liquid, where you put a tube into a petrol tank, and you slightly suck, and then it's got to be higher than the bucket that you siphon into.
Sure.
You can siphon the chain. So stand as high as you can, and you see there's an end
as high
coming
as I
out
can.
of the beaker, out of the cup.
Shall I
That'd
go
be
on the
perfect.
desk?
If you feel comfortable there on the desk,
why
it's
not?
great.
Why not?
And if you could just jerk out the leading... Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Stephen, just tell me what you need me to do. What would you need me to do?
Just jerk it out. Yeah, jerk it out.
Just jerk it out.
Jerk it out.
With any luck, you'll see a rather astonishing effect. It seems to defy gravity, in the words of Wicked.
Jerk that out.
Yeah, out, up and down. And as high as you can.
Oh!
Wow! Look at that! That's amazing!
Wow! Dude! It's going up. It's going up. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's magic!
That's pretty impressive.
And that's actual magic.
That is, isn't it?
Wow.
Magic of science.
That's incredible.
What's lovely about that, and we love this particularly on QI, is that it's a phenomenon that's only recently been discovered in 2013.
And did someone discover that? What was it? A bath plug?
Well,
What were they-
it was first demonstrated on YouTube in 2013 by a man called Steve Mould, who is a scientific presenter. And it's had 1.5 million hits so far. I hope it'll have more. Came to the notice of John Biggins and Mark Warner, who are two Cambridge scientists, and they presented a paper on the way it works to the Royal Society. And they basically argued this: the longer the drop to the floor, the faster the string of beads jumps out of the pot, the higher the chain fountain, as they call it. Because the beads are close together, they act as if they were a sequence of little rods rising out of the pod. It tries to rotate around its centre of gravity, but it can't because the bottom of the pot is in the way, and so it has nowhere to go but upwards. At least that's the scientific explanation. And it's a wonderful... That's in real time. That's not speeded up. It's quite astonishing.
I thought mine was special. There's another one. I thought mine was enchanted.
The beautiful thing is, everyone now can give it to their children. That's the thing, you see. Now to that evergreen highlight of Christmas telly, it's not a wonderful life. It's general ignorance, and there's no great escape. Fingers on buzzers, please, if you will. How can the detective tell if someone's used a gun?
They are holding a gun.
I was going to go with bullet wound.
Well, those are indicators that a gun has been used. How can you tell? Fingerprints. Ah, interesting. Only 5% of guns that are used have residue of fingerprints, or latents, as they're called, as we know from police shows. But police shows quite wrongly suggest that fingerprints are a big, big issue in guns. Whose fingerprints are on there? It's only 5% of
That looks like that's kind of break
Only
glass for
5%
emergency.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Only 5%.
Only 5% revealed, partly because guns are oily anyway, partly because they put it in their pocket and it'll get smeared off, and partly because they're careful.
So how do you tell if someone's...
Well, powder residue is far more likely on their clothes if they haven't burnt or thrown away their clothes. It's a much bigger index, so be careful if you're planning any incident.
I hate those presents where it's all strapped in like that. It's so difficult to get the toy out of the box.
That's what you need, an old flippy. I'm going to be using this at every opportunity.
So, there you are. What happens to my Christmas souffle if I open the oven door while it's cooking?
It'll sink.
Oh, dear. Well,
Everyone knows that.
so we've been brought up to believe it just isn't true. And if it goes cold, it will sink, but even then, it will re-rise if you heat it up again. And just opening the oven door won't make it sink. It really won't.
Sorry, what's this Christmas souffle?
I know. We're trying to make it topical. I agree. I've never had souffle at Christmas.
Oh,
I
that's
will
a
admit,
classic
this is
Christmas
one of the
dish.
things I do know how to cook is souffle.
Are you good at a souffle?
I'm really good at it. That's how I entered the cooking field, as it were.
What was the souffle? What did you go with?
Souffle, I've got the best one that I make is cheese, ham and cheese, and chocolate.
Chocolate. 28th of February is National Chocolate Souffle Day in France.
All right, then come
That's
over to
good.
my house.
I will.
Everybody's invited.
Everybody's invited.
It's actually much easier to make souffles than you know.
Huh?
That's my big secret.
But everybody's incredibly impressed by them because they think this whole thing of the timing of it and the fact they'll sink, but they won't.
Is that girl contemplating suicide?
You were once sick,
Well,
melon farmer.
she just looks very sad. She's staring at a gas oven.
If you were a child in an English home in the 70s, you would get sent into the gas oven with matches.
It's true.
And that was normal. There was like no health and safety. Get in the oven with the matches and light the gas.
What do you reckon?
The high-level grill. I wouldn't thought anything of it.
That was death trap.
That's why you look the way you do, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Exactly.
Probably knows Bill best from the Warning films.
Hey, kids, don't
Don't
look
let this
at
out.
me.
Anyway, yeah, it is okay to open the oven door to check your souffle. Well, now, hey-ho, all good things must come to an end, so when should you take down your Christmas decorations?
January the 6th.
January the 6th.
I think it's after the first fight on Christmas morning. You go, it's all ruined, it's over.
Yeah.
12th day.
Well, the 12th day of Christmas.
The 12th day of Christmas.
What is the 12th day of Christmas?
The 12th,
January the
gave
6th.
to me. January the 6th. Somebody think it's January the 5th. No, well, you see, the tradition is that it's Candlemas Eve. And Candlemas...
Candlemas Eve when you burn your bleaching vouchers.
When you lose your racing card trip in a pile of wrapping paper.
It's the 1st of February. Candlemas Day is the 2nd of February. The whole idea is Christmas is a gigantic
1st of
feast.
February?
Yeah, Christmas, huge winter feast. And you kept the holly and the ivy and all your things up all the way through. Nowadays we've got central heating and things like that. We don't really think about that. How amazing it was to have pickles and jams and preserves and dried fruits and all the things that kept you through winter. And it was a great celebration.
And book tokens.
So
And book tokens, yeah.
Christmas was actually all the way from Martinmas, which was 11th of November, to Candlemas Eve.
Well, that was a long labour for Mary then, wasn't it?
Well, the 40 days before Christmas were fasting season and getting ready for it. And then
I
Christmas...
find the opposite. You can't fast before Christmas. You have to get yourself match fit for the big day. So you can't just go from a normal diet to 10,000 calories. You've got to work your way up to Christmas, and then you're ready on the big day for the,
the big
crunchy
blowout.
nut cornflakes and Baileys to start.
Such a sensible man.
I tell you, the Rice Krispies and the Lambrusco also. That is a lifesaver, I tell you.
You realise someone is watching this on Dave at 4 in the morning going, we've got those. We've got
You've run out of Jägermeister and you have to have a Tia Maria bomb.
Crunchy nut cornflakes and Baileys, my God, that is a calorie delivery system and a half.
Yeah, tasty.
Very,
Very tasty.
Well, baby, it is the spirit of Christmas.
I am the spirit of Christmas, yes.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
for a
right.
sophisticate like you, Carrie, this must be
it's such
upsetting.
a sophisticate.
You are a glittering sophisticate. But explain to the ladies and gentlemen, because we know that there is a separation of church and state in America, and what that means, of course, is that Christmas Day is not a particularly
illegal.
special day, in as much as that's a
some
big day
states.
for people to go to the cinema, isn't it?
Well, I don't think it's a special day anymore, and also
That's what I mean.
stores
But
are still open.
That's what I mean. That's the point, is because in American law, you can't have a religious festival being a commercial holiday. So all your holidays are secular. Memorial Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day. None of those are religious. Whereas we, being a still so-called religious country, we have these days like Christmas, which no one would think of going to the cinema on Christmas Day in Britain.
I read an interesting thing about America recently. It was in The Unbelievers. It's a brilliant film about atheism, which said that we've secularised in Great Britain. We've become a secular culture, whereas in America they've secularised their religion. So churches in America are more like self-help groups. They're about this life, not the next life. So they've just changed religion. So they're thinking about it in a different way.
That's in the in-betweeners.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
A little bit off your ears.
It's a really interesting thing, though, that secular... It is quite a secular culture, America.
Although Americans, over 60%, believe that angels walk amongst us.
That's in America.
That's in America. But why don't they walk?
Hold on. Are they company, these angels? It's the right result, isn't it?
Hello, Raphael.
Wait, right.
You're an archangel, you are.
Yeah, I'm infused with the Holy Spirit. I'll tell you what.
Stick Harry down and walking among them.
Yeah, I'm walking about it. Yeah.
Have you seen the
Who makes
angel?
up that test, though? Who even thinks up that question?
I know, whereas Copenhagen, for example, was asked to a group of Americans, and most of them thought it was in Canada.
It isn't.
No.
It's really a shock.
Also, do you know where the rebel base is? Will you tell us where the rebel base is?
In your pants. That's why we have to
That would
keep
be a
it
great
bleak.
pair of underpants. Just a rebel base across the waistband.
Patent it. That is
Patent that, write that down.
Write that down. These are the pants you want.
Yeah, copyright Alan Davies. Yeah, hold on. Okay, so you can leave your Christmas decorations up until the 1st of February, if you like, yeah?
Yeah.
So, having reinstated the full 38 days of Christmas, we now have plenty of time to mull over the scores, and my goodness me, how fabulous they are. In first place, with astonishing scoring, 5 points. That's a +5. What's Jimmy Carr? Oh, yeah. Come on. 5 points. But imagine on your debut to have a plus score. +3, Carrie Fisher. Bill in third place with a respectable -6.
-6.
There are only 40 days in Advent, but Alan manages -46. To thank Harry, Jimmy, Bill, and wait a second. There's one little boy here who still hadn't had a present. Oh, but here's Santa. Santa, what have you got for Alan? Have a feel in Santa's sack, Alan. What can you have a feel? What's in there?
Ping pong balls.
Ping pong balls. Now, I know a very exciting thing you can do with ping pong balls, but it's quite loud and quite dangerous. So, can you all put your ear defenders on?
Right.
So,
Look
Jimmy,
at Harry's ear defenders.
Harry's ear defenders are very special.
Oh, you don't know, but you got me through some very difficult years. I only said that when you had the ear defenders on.
You go in a safe place, Jimmy, Carrie, and Bill, and ear defenders on in the audience, if you would. Good luck. Oh, well done. Alan, you and I are going to the extremely dangerous place. I mean, kind of suicidal. So put the goggles on before the... Yeah, right. And you've got gloves, which you don't need to have. Right, okay, so here we have the ping pong balls. We're going to pour in liquid nitrogen, which is 196 degrees minus, that is. Really, really cold. We're pouring it into this bottle. And it's fine in the bottle, but if you put it in really hot water, obviously this is gas, which is in liquid form. And when it heats, it'll go back to gas. But there's so much of it, it'll expand and expand and expand, and the bottle will explode really rather violently. So if you put it in, there's hot water in there. We're going to add these ping pong balls. And the moment the bottle goes in, Alan, pop in all of them. And I'll pop in all of mine. And then we've got about 5 seconds. Well, let's go. Oh, gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, that's great.
It's genuinely like all our Christmases came at once.
Ding dong, merrily on high, and a very happy Christmas to you all.